Hey guys, how's it going? Peshcat's here with Danny, and today I played one of his decks, and I've played his decks before. You guys can go check out the Fuso Yamashiro Kantai deck profile that we did when Kantai 3rd Fleet came out. But today we're going to be taking a look at Persona 5, so this is like a red-yellow deck, but it's like mostly red. It's got some few things that yellow, but it's like 80% red. So we're just gonna go ahead and run through this. I'm gonna be posting all of the videos that I played today with this deck, so you guys can go check those out as well. And this is gonna be the deck profile. So for zeros, hopefully you guys can see, not too much glare. This deck has what is this? 15 level zeros. Yep. So first we have the 4 copies of the Morgana Runner. Yep. It's just a free runner at the start of your opponent's attack phase. You can move it to somewhere in the front row. Then level 0 Suicider Anne, and her other effect is when she's played, you
mill the 2 top. You have to mill 2.
All right, yeah, you
mill top 2 cards in your deck. If any of them are climaxes, you choose any character, give it plus 15.
Okay. A lot of times this is useful just because it's like a free mill, but like occasionally you give power to stuff, which is cool. So it's comparable to like the Excel World one, where it's come to play mill 3, except this one you might sometimes randomly give a power boost to something. But most of the time I grabbed this for like the mill. This one also has some good milling. It's on play.
Mill 2.
You have to mill 2.
You must mill 2.
Alright, you must mill 2, and then for each Phantom Thief character you mill, it gets plus 1,000 until the end of the turn. And its other effect is on play, you can shuffle 2 characters from your waiting room back into your deck. And if you do, he gets plus 1 soul for the turn. I actually never used that ability, the second ability. Yeah. Mostly because like the level 3 game, I pretty much always got what I wanted. So I didn't need to like randomly grab this to get soul.
The Wombo combo is you have a low deck, he uses effect, and you have the P5 Pro tag out for confirmed burn. Low deck.
Oh.
P5 Pro tag.
That's pretty good. All right.
Pretty Wombo combo.
I think the other application for this would be like if you're low deck, you can throw 2 cards back so that like when you play a climax that turn, you can get it back into your refresh. That's the more simple application. Obviously, there's more like combo-y stuff that you can do with it. I think 2 of this was fine. Most of the time in my opening hand, I wanted to see the runner, but it's nice to follow it up with one of these 2 when they play something to try to kill the runner, and then you can just kill their thing after. Yep, always. And then your runner just keeps running all over the place. 3 copies of this and support. So it's a global 5, and then her other effect is when one of your other characters direct attacks. Oh no! When any of your characters,
when any of your characters direct attacks,
it counts on itself. If they don't cancel, if your opponent has a face-down card in memory, which you can accomplish with the 1/1 event, then you can pay 1. You take their face-down card in memory, put it back into waiting room, and then salvage 1. Yep. That effect never went off for me. I could have used it. I actually could have used it in game 4, but I chose not to because I wanted the stock for my level 3 setup. Because I had like 6 stock and I wanted to have potentially 3 level 3s or something like that. But the global 5, I mean, you can't really complain about that. And then the last level 0 is 3 copies of the Brainstorm. So it's a startup, you can give 500 to a character, and then Brainstorm pay 1, tap 2, and then for each climax you get to search your deck for a Phantom Thief. Yep. A very simple card, but at the same time it's a Brainstorm. Yep. Stuff you need. As far as the lineup, I guess the reason you want a low count would probably be to try to hit more burns on the P5 Pro tag in the late game. As long as you draw like one of these, you're pretty good to go. You don't need a whole lot of zeros in the deck. Yep. At the same time, though, it's nice to have the option to grab these later in the game so that you can mill through your deck, because this deck doesn't have any other free way of milling. Yeah. So these 2 cards, they scale pretty well in that they have the mill utility. Yep.
More importantly, it's yellow.
These are yellow, which is some of the only color fix for the higher level yellow stuff. So that's 15 zeros. We're gonna just put that right there. All right, moving on to the ones now. So for the ones, it was 15 ones as well?
Yes.
All right, so 3 of this, 3 of this, the MVP.
MVP.
Kind of.
False saver.
And then 2 of this event. Yep. So starting at the main level 1 game, the main game plan is the Morgana level 1. So it has a climax combo with a gate. First of all, when you play any climax, it gets plus 15 until the end of the turn. And the other effect is the climax combo. When it attacks, you reveal the top card of your deck, and then you add it to your hand no matter what it is. But if the card you added was not a Phantom Thief, you must discard one. And I never missed on this all day. not a single time. There were games, though, where I completely I did not get the climax.
Yeah,
like, I think game 4, I drew all of these, and none of the Morgana Gate. But this combo's pretty
really
nice.
But the problem is, like, most other Persona decks, they fill the deck up with, like, non-Phantom Thieves. You're more expected to miss.
Yeah.
But for this deck, you can only miss on the climaxes and the 1/1 event itself.
Yeah. And I never miss with this. Okay, so the cool thing I like about this is that you could potentially, like, if you pick up a climax like late into your deck rotation, you can just like immediately drop it. But at the same time, though, if you compare it to other decks that have like the actual top check and then add it to your hand if it's that trait, is that even if you do reveal the climax, typically in that deck you're going to be running 8 plusing climaxes, so you would still get the +1, whereas with this one you don't.
A lot of people like feel it's really bad when you just add a non-Phantom Thief, but at worst it's a hand fix, right? Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Or like if you hit level 3 and you need the climax and you check and get the add climax, you can just hold it. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I think this combo is pretty solid. It's not really a combo that you're using. It's not really a combo that like you use again and again and again. Like you keep playing these cards, or at least that's the way I kind of saw it. That's at least the way that my games went today. Like with other decks, sometimes you just want to play the level 1 combo over and over and over and over again. Like maybe Sword Art Online would want to do that with like a Yugi combo. You just want to keep doing it, keep getting gold bars, keep getting compression, and taking 2 cards out of your deck every time you do that. But with this one, I really only found myself using it like once per game. Like play 2 copies, play the climax, and then like move on with my life. But yeah, this card's pretty good.
You have to build around it, guys. You can't half-ass it.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Okay, so next we have really interesting level 1 Suicider. It's pretty cheeky. I used the non-Suicider ability one time today, and it actually worked out pretty nicely. So first of all, it's a level 1 Suicider. That's the easy part. The second effect is when this reverses a battle opponent, and so this can be either by just like punching over or using your Suicider ability. If you reverse an opponent's character during your turn,
you may pay costs.
You can choose one of your other standing characters in the front row and this card, and then have them swap places. And then if you do, you salvage one, discard one. So, what's cool about this card is that you can use it to play around your opponent's. Like if they try to wall up on one lane, but they leave around something that you can kill with this, then you crash, or like you just run over or something. And then you swap, you get to hand fix, which is cool, and at the same time, your field isn't dying as much because you're not ramming into their lane where they have a really, really big character. So that's a really cool thing about this card. I actually played this quite a bit today, but I only used the switch ability once.
And another cheeky thing you can do is, if you're afraid to put your opponent at leveling, you can just kill it with a level. You can use this to kill level 0, and then tag into another card, and then kill out the same card you just killed. So you don't your extra.
Yeah. So like if they have like an open lane, then if you want to be cheeky, you just front the same character twice, and then they don't level up.
Yep. Scumbag tactics.
Yeah. Okay. Another level 1 is the 1/0 Anne. When she attacks, if you have 2 or more other Phantom Thieves, she gains 2k power. It's pretty important with this deck to be able to reverse stuff. So like if your hand in the late game or like your stock in the late game isn't like optimal, you want to have something costless that you can reverse, because it's really important to reverse your opponent's characters for the P5 Pro Tag. At the same time, though, this is just a nice mid-game costless beater. It hits for 7k. not much to say here. But like just having a costless beater is always nice.
Okay.
Now we have the bus. So this is pretty much regarded as a meme card right now, but I think the one of is actually
Pretty important.
very important to have access to in some matchups. I lost my round 1 because I didn't have this in my hand when he went into level 3, and I got killed by double restands. So I'm pretty sure that's something that I could have controlled, and I could have had this on my board and not died to the double restands, but I would have to go back and check the video. But this is definitely a card that can get you out of really bad situations. Particularly, like I said, against like matchups where you know that they're going to have some sort of like honor versatility or a clock shooter,
Or just like a climax combo.
or if you just like if you're compressed and you really want them to overswing and you want to empty your board, then that's another thing that you can do. I think having the option to play this card in this deck is very important. And as like meme of a card this is, it's pretty good. So anyways, for what the effect is, since we haven't said that yet. So at the start of your opponent's main phase, you can pay to discard 2 when this is on your stage. And so like it's like ran sample board setup. So you have like, so let's say like this is your
Board setup.
This is your board setup or something. So this is your front row. At the start of your opponent's main phase, you pay the cost, which is pay 2, drop 2. You take all of your other characters on the stage and you put them under this as a marker. So like this has like 4 markers now.
Yeah.
Then at the start of your opponent's attack phase,
As long as you have 1 marker.
as long as you have 1 or more markers under this card, you can move it to anywhere,
slot, yeah.
Even the back row. So it protects all your stuff from dying. And then at the start of your main phase, all of these cards that were markers, you get to put them back on the stage in any position. So basically, preserves your entire field for 1 turn. And this is extremely useful against, like I said, the restand matchups or any sort of unreversibility. It's very weak to wind triggers or decks with abilities that can kill stuff on field. So, like I played against Mike round 4 using Excel World, and he had a back attacker. So that was a potentially awful situation if I had like used this and he successfully used the back attack ability.
Yep.
But you need to play smart with this card. You need to know when it's going to be relevant for your matchup and when it's going to be detrimental to your matchup. So this is actually a card that you want to have knowledge of your opponent's deck so that you can play around what they have.
And then what a lot of people have been asking me before is why do I not play the level 0 Goro?
Which one's that?
When someone's front attack, you can pay 1, send this waiting room, bounce the card that's been front attack to hand.
Oh, the new Naoto.
So the thing is, this is Phantom Thief. You can search it out anytime you need it, and like, it's a relevant beater if you need it. 105k is like decent, and then it doesn't screw up your board state because some of your cards require Phantom Thieves on field specifically.
I like this card. I think having 1 of it is important, and using it correctly will show how well versed you are in like the metagame.
Yep.
It's definitely not just a meme card.
Yep.
We have a 2k counter. It's a 2k counter.
Generic. Yeah.
All right. Now the last card for the level 1 game we have is the 1/1 event. So this event has 4 different kinds. It has a yellow one, a red one, a green one, and a blue one. All of them do different things. So it's kind of like pendants and Nisekoi, except they all have like different costs as well.
Yeah.
In this deck, Danny chose to only run the red one.
Yeah.
And so this, all of them have the same first effect, which is if your opponent does not have a face-down card in memory already, and the only way that they can get a face-down card is by when you play this event. Mm-hmm. If they don't already have one in memory, they choose a card from their hand, they put it face down into memory, and then they may draw a card. Mm-hmm. So your opponent ends up going even, and they hand fix 1. This could eventually screw them up. This could potentially screw them up if like their hand is full of like good stuff that they want to keep. But that's not anything that we as the Persona player are ever going to know because it's face down.
Yeah.
So after that, the second part of the ability is not dependent on the first. So you can, even if your opponent already has a face down card in memory, you can still use the event and you can do the other effects. So the second half of the card is you choose a level 1 or lower in their front row and kill it. and then you give one of your characters on reverse salvage. This is very easy with the level 1 Suicider since you can guarantee it. Or if you know how big their counters are, you just like throw some beat sticks down and just run their stuff over, and then you get salvages. So
yeah, instead of using this as an advantage engine, you barely. Some people run 4, but for this, it's just more value based. You just use it to grab like momentum. That's it.
Yeah, and then like sometimes you can use discard's effect to get a +1, but I don't think the way that the deck was playing for me earlier, I didn't feel like this was really too necessary. Just using it as a global 5 was pretty good.
Yeah, because all the other global 5s in the set require like revolve around these also.
Yeah,
everyone else is like.
I think this one's fine.
Yeah,
and I think running 2 of this. I was talking to Danny earlier that I was saying that I would maybe like to see 1 copy of the 0/0 Ryuji, which is a 2/5, and its effect is on play, discard 1 to salvage this event, and just as like another like discard outlet or a potential way to pick this up, because this is a pretty good card.
Yeah.
And sometimes you want it because your opponent has some big level 1s and you just want to get that off the field and you don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
But so that's the level 1 lineup. Okay. And the level 2 lineup is pretty small. So it's only 3 cards. I did not use this at all today.
Well, you have the option to.
Yeah, it was in my stock. I did not have the option to. So the first one I'll talk about is the Free Fresh counter. So it's a 2/1 Futaba. You use the counter, it gives 2/5 power, and then the second ability is when you use the counter, you can pay 2 extra to Free Fresh. Very simple card. We've seen it before in like Log Horizon, and Miku has it. Angel Beats, of course, and I think the most recent one was Excel World.
Yeah, this one.
And Gochius also has it. But anyways, refresh counter, everybody knows what this does already. And now we have these two. So we have the 2/1 Skull. This isn't used for the Climax combo, it's just used for the anti-level 3 ability. When it attacks into a level 3 or higher, it gets 6k. So it goes from a 7k to a 13. And then if you have your back rows, so cards like the Global Panther or even the Brainstorm, if you use its ability and then you can buff it even higher.
And then this is the only anti-level 3 that Phantom Thieves have available. If you don't use this, you have to use the 1/1 Adachi from Persona 4 instead.
And that's not a Phantom Thieves.
Yeah, it's not a Phantom Thieves, so you can't search it. So yeah.
You can't search it, and like you would have to discard off the 1/0 combo. Honestly, this card is fine.
Yeah.
And it's yellow.
Yellow's most important.
If you like know that you're not going to need it for your matchup, then just throw it into level so that you can get yellow cards later. The last level 2, which as I played today,
it's actually really good.
It's actually very important. It's actually very important. So it has 2 effects. The first one, or the second one rather, it's an assist on your turn only, level times 500 in front. So if it's behind a level 1, then it's giving.
Okay.
Wait, did I say 500? Level times 1,000 in front. Did I say 500?
Yes.
All right, level times 1,000 in front. So if it's behind level 1, then it's giving 1k. If it's behind a level 2, then it's giving 2k. If it's behind a level 3, then it's giving plus 3k. But it's on your turn only. But it's really important.
It's double the standard of normal level assist.
It's really important for you to be able to reverse with this deck, especially when you hit into the level 3 game. The second effect of the card only applies buff to the level 3 protag. So this card gives all copies of this anywhere on the board, so it's a global. It gives it 500, and it gives an ability. When it reverses a battle opponent, you can check the top card of your deck, and you can either leave it on top or send it to the waiting room, and this is potentially important for P5 protag's finisher ability. So this card gives really big buffs on your turn, which is really important. Like I said, this deck has a ton of emphasis on reversing your opponent's characters during the late game. Like you have to be able to kill everything, and this really helps with that. So that's it for the level 2s, 3 level 2s, and now let's move on to. Okay, so for the level 3s, first we'll just talk about this Morgana real quick. This is the early drop. If you have 2 or less climaxes, you can early summon it. At level 2, on play heal, and on attack, if you have 2 or more other Phantom Thieves, this gets plus 2k on attack. If you don't have 2 or more other Phantom Thieves on your field, you're probably doing something very, very, very wrong.
Yeah.
So this card is just an early summon, and it can hit big. And hitting big is very important for the reasons I said earlier. You want to be able to reverse at level 3 because this guy. So
yeah, and you can usually normally kill your opponent's level 2, level 3 early drop to level 2 also.
Yeah. Especially if you combo it with this, like this thing's hitting for like 14-5, sometimes 15 if you have other back row. So this thing hits big, and that's what's important. And it's an early play game.
Yep.
I think this card's underpriced right now, to be honest.
980?
I think at 980. I think it should be at least like 1280.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I mean, like, you have them already, so you can't really complain.
Yeah, I know.
All right, now on to the actual, like, level 3 line. So this is the stuff that, like, will be coming into play at level 3.
Yep.
So first we have the 3-2 Anne. So she has a climax combo with the other gate. The climaxes in this deck are 8 gates, so you run 4 of the gate for the level 1 combo for the cat.
Yep.
And then the other 4 gates are...
oh my god,
oh my god, we are so awesome! Which is the gate for the Anne combo. So, on play, you draw 1, and
he gets 2k.
She gets 2k until the end of the turn.
Really important.
Important because you need to reverse stuff. You really, really, really need to reverse stuff in this deck. The Climax combo is when you have the Climax in play, if she reverses a battle opponent, you get to choose a Phantom Thief in your waiting room, put it into stock, and then burn 1. And it's free.
Yep.
It's great. I love it. Very, very simple card.
Huge application.
Gets the job done. It does exactly what you want your finishers to do for a card like
the
this.
Stock matters because
the stock matters a lot because of
this
what this card does.
And you can also bust freely without punishing yourself.
All right, so the last card we have in the level 3 line is 2 copies of the P5 Pro Tag. I think 2 is a good number.
Yeah, you don't want any more.
I'm.
You only need 1 on the board at any time. You don't need 2.
I don't know why the card is 3k yen. But it's 3k yen. It's the hype. It's just the hype. Like, this will go down soon enough. Anyways, this card, it gains 500 power for every other Phantom Thief you have on the stage. So it starts at a 9k base, goes up to 11k with a full board.
Yep.
On play heal. Somewhat important, but the third ability is the
main draw.
The really important part. So at the start of your encore step, if your opponent's front row is either all reversed or it's empty, then you can pay the cost, which is pay 3, discard a Phantom Thief. And you can activate this from the back row, which is really, really cool. So, like what I did in one of my games earlier was I kept this in the back row just in case my opponent lived, and then I lived on the following turn so that I could reuse the ability and not, like, if I had it in the front row, it could have potentially gotten killed. So, good to know that this ability can be used from the back row.
Yep.
So, after you've paid the costs, you perform the following ability X times, where X is the number of your Phantom Thieves in the front row. So let's say your front row is triple Anne. You have 3 Phantom Thieves, so you get to use the following ability 3 times in a row. And the ability is, you reveal the top card of your deck, you look at the level of that card, you burn for that number. So, like, this is a level 1 card, so you would burn for 1, and then you put the card on the bottom of your deck. And then, so you can do that for the first one, then you do it for the second one, you reveal the top card, it's a level 1, you burn for 1, put it on the bottom, and you reveal the last card, it's level 1, you burn for 1, you put it on the bottom, and then you shuffle your deck after.
Yeah.
So, that's the main reason, that's a pretty big reason why the level 0 count is pretty low. Honestly, you don't really, as long as you start with a runner, you don't really...
You want to be leveling your zeros along the way.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah. Although I would say the zeros that you would want to be leveling are the runners and the brainstorms. Like, if you're gonna level zeros for color, you want these ones because these ones don't have utility
compared to the
later game because these both mill. So ideally, you wouldn't want to be leveling these.
And then if you have a low deck, you can just count all the zeros in your waiting room, and then you can check how much it's going to burn for accurately most of the time.
But I mean, like, pretty much 100% of the time in this deck, if you're using the effect, then you're burning 3 times.
Hopefully.
I mean, like, you're repeating the effect 3 times. You're not necessarily burning because you can, hit a 0.
Yeah.
I actually like this card a lot. I think it's the power thresholds that you're able to hit with this deck in the late
16
game.
to 17K.
Assuming you have this that's why this card's very important in order to hit very high. You're able to hit numbers of like 15, 16K very easily.
And then if you reverse with this last and you have this on board, you can guarantee at least hopefully one burn.
Well, okay. What you can do is this gives the ability to top check on reverse to this guy. So let's say you attack with like your front row is like 2 ands plus him, so you go like an attack and you get a stocking burn, and then an attack you get a stocking burn, and then this attacks and you reverse the card. You check the top. Oh, it's a level 3. I'm gonna leave it there, and then when he uses his first instance of the attack of the burn, you reveal your top. It's a level 3. You're burning for 3, and then you go from there. And then after you finish all of the instances of revealing the top, shoving it to the bottom, then you shuffle your deck. So even if you like top check like 3 climaxes in a row, you can at least shuffle your deck to know that you don't have 3 climaxes all on the bottom of your deck, which would be tragic.
Yeah, and there's a funny application that we just talked about earlier. If you have 2 cards in deck exactly, and you know what those 2 cards, you're gonna be repeatedly burning them.
We use this too.
Or you can use this card to guarantee.
You can use this to shove higher level cards back into your deck
to guarantee the burn.
Yeah, but if you do that, then this is probably like either it's going to sit in the back row because it can't kill anything,
or you can just smash it. Nothing wrong with that.
No, because you have to reverse the whole field.
No, but you can just smash.
Oh, you mean like
later.
play over it?
Yeah,
or something?
play over it. You just need to use the effect, and that's it.
Yeah, but the point is that there's there are ways to play around with this effect.
If they have tap counters, yeah, good luck. That's the most thing you're worried about. Either you can't reverse them or they have tap counters.
Tap counter is worse than money counter in this because at least with the money counter you're able to reverse. Money counter also hurts this card because you can't burn them with the climax combo after you reverse them.
The thing is they can't money counter everything.
Yeah.
The thing is just one tap counter is enough to shut down this card completely.
Yeah, because then they can't you can't reverse everything. So it's pretty sad.
Yeah.
On that.
I actually seen some people use the 3-2 skull to guarantee this to go off most of the time. The thing is, you're giving up one of the precious climax faces you have in deck. 3-2 skull is when you play a climax combo, you discard.
You discard one, you bounce one, and then you give a cancel burn.
Yeah.
I think that card's garbage, and I think the price reflects that it's garbage.
Yeah, but I've seen some people do it just to guarantee this thing off for cards they can't reverse. But you never know. Options are options.
I don't think that's very good.
But yeah, what else is there to talk about? It's 8 gates because you need a plus hand. Plussing hand's important because you need it for the bus. Plus is really important.
Yeah. I found myself having like, I think I discarded for hand size like 3 or 4 times today.
Oh man, that must be nice. Yeah.
Like just if this sticks for a couple turns, like
you're just golden.
You're good.
Yeah.
And then the only step from there is you just get your 1-0 climax combos, and then you go from there. The rest of the deck plays, or the level 2 game, it plays pretty much as you would expect. You just want to play more costless beaters, build stock, play these, kill things, and then prepare for level 3, or when you're going to drop a bunch of these.
Yep.
At that point, the only problem is you want to get this climax in your hand. So that's pretty much it, though.
That shouldn't be hard.
All right. So did you have any questions on like usage and as far as like how I played today?
Nothing. Like, you played pretty solid. I can't say anything wrong.
Okay, just like a couple comments, I guess. Okay, so this I never used the second effect, the salvage one. Mm-hmm. I had one opportunity that I could do it, but I
because like a lot of people I feel a lot of people overrate the whole notice thingy because like later in the game you will not be attacking directly most of the time unless you know you're gonna win anyways, or they just empty the zone for you. So most of the time it serves as a global 500.
The counters are pretty important during like the level 2 stage of the game, because like if they hit you to level 3, if they're gonna hit you to level 3 that turn and you counter something, then that's one less lane that you have to worry about reversing for his effect.
Yeah.
So the counters can be pretty important.
Yeah, and then keeping Morgana alive because you spent 2 stock points is pretty important either. Because then once it hits level 3, it can help you continue killing at level 3 also.
Yeah.
This is the power boost. Yeah.
I think we covered pretty much everything though.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys have any questions for either
send it to Randall.
Put them down in the comments section of the video.
So what else? I think another important question people are gonna ask is where's the blue? Turns out blue is really hard to splash effectively in this deck. because
Blue is hard to splash without going into like other traits.
because you have to be running events, which is gonna kill up the viability of the cat or Morgana at level 1. And then like all your good level 0 for blue is only the level 0 Futaba, who's also gonna whip because you have more events than you normally should.
Yeah.
The good thing about it running blue is you have option to the money counter in Jack Bros from Persona 3, or the Maggie Terror reading in Persona 4, and you have the level 3 Futaba for level 3. The thing is, this deck is more about punching face, not surviving.
And this punch is pretty hard.
Yeah.
Like
if you're trying to build a deck that just annoys your opponent to death, just build green blue.
I think the coolest part about this end game is that it requires very little stock investment actually going into your finishing turn, because all of the stock usage is not really front loaded because you use it at the very end.
And then like if your opponent's trying to like play smart, you can use the bus at level 2, empty your front row, and then once the turn passes, you can play Anne and punish them, which does become relevant in some games.
It depends on the matchup. Though.
Yeah. Yeah, just like, what do you really do? You can't leave your front row open. You can't leave it like empty either.
This card is really important though. Like
Yeah,
you guys are gonna see round 1. I'm gonna get like raped anally by Uzuki and Anya in the same turn, and it sucks.
Yeah,
It's
it's a global Naruto. Just think of it like that.
It's a good card.
It's a global Naruto. That's all you need to know, man.
All right,
That's it up.
good old best girl.